Amy Sutherland. Oh no! Oh my God! A SCOBY hoe like I was talking about. Cool. Thank you so much, Amy. This is cool. I will be making a handle for this. That's for sure. Wow. Okay, everybody, this is Danny back from Deep South Homestead. We received a gift from an individual, one of our subscribers. I had mentioned in one of my videos about hoes in one of my chat times, and I had mentioned that a SCOBY hoe is something that I had looked for a long time. And I'm not a big eBay person. I don't usually go on eBay and look for anything, to be honest with you. And I know there's a lot of things out there. But Amy Sutherland had seen that I had wanted one, and she went on eBay and found one and had it shipped from that person's house straight to me. And we received it, and it is, and it looks like it's one of the old, actually antique ones, because it's had some age on it. It actually has a name on it here that I'm going to have to do a little bit of work on the hoe to be able to see if I can bring out what the name of it is. And if I do, I'll put that out there. The individual that had this said this hoe was right at 90 years old. If you get a good look at it, this is what I was trying to tell you about. This is called a SCOBY hoe. And you can tell it's war, because they're usually a lot further down here, but now this one's cut on an angle. And evidently the guy was right-handed, because that's the sign when one's cut off on an angle like that. That's usually a sign that that person was a right-handed person, because they have a tendency to pull in a particular direction. And they cut it off on an angle like that. Now it's not sharp right now. I'm going to have to sharpen it, and we'll probably show that in part of the video. But what I've done, I went out in the woods and I hunted for a particular tree. And I found this here. This is a yopon. I wanted one that had a particular curve to it, because I've learned I don't like straight handles for my hoes or shovels or whatever I'm using. It's kind of like if you're using a broad axe and you're going to hew out a piece of tree. The handle's got to have a specific curve to it. And that's the way I like my hoe handles. For one like this, I chose one that had a specific curve in it here in the woods. A little bit of an arch. And I'm going to show you why. Now this tree is still green. It is not completely cured yet. You can see on the floor here where I've peeled the bark off of it. And another thing, when I choose a handle, I like for a handle to come to the bottom of my chin. And you'll learn, the older you get, the less you want to lean into something, because most people, if you ever notice when they're working, they're down here like this, and that's really bad on your lower back when you're leaned over like that. I like my hose and my handle so that my hand is right here at the end, and I lay my hand right here, it reaches the ground, and I'm going to show you in a minute why I choose that angle for this particular hoe, is the way it hits the ground. Now, we're fixing to put the head on this thing. And that's what I like about these hoes. That's why I wanted one so bad.
Bigger.
It gets bigger as we go to the end down there. Now, this handle is still green. It is not completely dried yet, so I'm going to leave this end sticking out here, because if it dries and shrinks, and if I cut this off, it'll just slip off the end of it. So I want to make sure before I actually fasten this hoe down that this thing is not going to come off of the end of it. Now, let me make sure I get my angle right. That's the angle that I want. Now reason I chose that, I showed y'all a while ago, that when I'm standing up, I don't even have to bend over. The angle of that hoe hitting the ground right there is the perfect angle for hoeing. As I'm coming in like this hoeing, it is the perfect angle for a hoe. When you're hoeing in the dirt like this, I don't have to do any bending over. And that's what I like. And I like the fact that this hoe's a little bit heavy. I like that because it makes it a little bit easier if I need to chop something down. And two, one of the reasons for the old SCOBY hoe like this is if a farmer was using his hoe and the handle broke. It's not like the old gooseneck hose like you get now. It's got the metal thing on the end of it. The farmer could go out in the woods, he could cut a tree down and peel it and slide it back up on here. It was just an easy fix for a hoe on a farm. All he had to do was just take this thing off the end of his handle, slide it down, and he could carry just this part with him. He could put that in a pack and just carry it with him locked up, and when he got where he's going, he could cut him a handle. That's another reason for that. It makes it just so easy for the person to be able to use and to keep this on a homestead. And two, since we've talked about the head and being able to take this off and being able to travel with it like this, back then people had done a lot of walking, and also your hoe handle would work as a walking stick, as a means of protection. If you come upon someone tried to rob you or something, you know, you always had a weapon with you. If you had sheep, goats, or anything like that, and you was out walking and you needed to protect them, you've always got this as kind of like a shepherd's staff. Your hoe would fit, hang on your belt loop, and you could walk along with this thing. It helped you walking and climbing and stuff like that, so it actually served a dual purpose. I also want to mention that because this is a green handle, that it's not something I want to use right now. I'm going to take this handle and drive a nail in the end of it right here, and I'm going to hang it up in my barn with the hoe head on it, and I'm going to let it hang here until it completely dries before I take it out, because that way I'll know if it warps up or twists in any way that I don't like. So I just thought I'd mention that as part of it. Okay, on the sharpening, I keep a 12-inch bastard file that I use. And people go, well, what angle do I need to cut on my hoe? Well, that's going to change with the person. Depends on your height. Me, I know the angle that I like. You need to be able to lay your hoe down on the ground and kind of figure the angle that the head of your hoe is sitting at, and you need to cut the back side at that angle. Now, whatever that angle is, I don't know, because it's going to change from person to person because of height. What I do is I take this file and I know my angle because I've done it so many times. And I just lay it across here and I file it, because what you don't want to do, you don't want to heat this metal up and lose its temper, because if you do, then you got to reheat the whole hoe and you got to redo your temper on it. Now, I'll file it till I can kind of start feeling it getting a little bit sharp along the edges. And it is almost there. I can feel it trying to roll under on the bottom side, so what I usually do then is I'll take it out of the vise and I'll take this file and I'll just kind of brush the back side up. And might I add, you don't ever want to drag a file backwards, because if you do, you'll actually ruin it. I'll lay it down on a surface and then when I get that done, I take a wet rock. I've got a wet rock here. It has a coarse side and it has a fine side. And I'll take that thing and to get my edge down where I really want it at. And I check it periodically. I can tell I'm getting pretty close, but now this is an old hoe. It's going to take me a little while to be able to get it where I want it at, find out if it's actually going to be sharp enough to cut anything. I mean, it's getting there. It could probably go a little bit more, but because it's still, I know you can't see it on the camera, but there's just some little tiny nicks along the edge of it there that I need to just kind of work on getting out. But as far as being able to use it, you know, it's still pretty sharp like it is right now to cut that paper. But that's basically about all they are to sharpening a hoe. I want to tell Amy how much I really, really appreciate you doing this for me. You'll never know what it means to me for someone to actually take the kind of time to go on somewhere like eBay or something and purchase something that I really want and have it sent to me. That, to me, there's no more honor that a person can have or give than to just have someone to think that much about you. And I just want to tell you how much I really appreciate and love you for doing that, because that means the world to me. It's something that I've always wanted, and now that I have, it's just another tool I can add to my homestead, and it's because of you as a subscriber taking the time out of your life and your expenses to do this for us, and we really, really appreciate it. I just want to tell you how much I appreciate all my subscribers. Thank y'all from Deep South Homestead.